So, Megami is finally taking control and finally helping out my ray of sunshine, Yuji Itadori. So yeah, let's talk about this brand new chapter from JJK. As always, we'll break it down by parts and then we'll see how it goes. So the last part, Sukuna was very pissed at Itadori because my little ray of sunshine, because he told him that he felt pity for him. He got really pissed and immediately activated his hollow whisker basket and began to to avoid what he's basically always done. He's using the hollow whisker basket with two hands so that he can throw hands with the other two hands. So yeah, he's basically gonna be doing all of these different things. Itadori comes in and starts attacking him. They just start hammering away. We have two instances of a really amazing flashback, not flashbacks, but Itadori begins talking to Megumi, and Megumi tells him that the only reason he got into the whole sorcery world is so that Tsumiki, his sister, would not have to go through all of that. And it still fucking happened. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a whole tragic ideal of Kenjaku just toying around with shit just to out of curiosity. I insist. I still think Kenjaku had potential to be an Aizen level villain, but Gege decided to discard Kenjaku in favor of using Sukuna in this situation, which, I mean, if you like that, that's fine. I think Kenjaku would have been a much more interesting villain than Sukuna, but to each their own. And he tells Itadori that he would have really liked just to see Itadori and Tsumiki with him, just to have them be three of them together. And that's very touching because it really shows how fucking depressed Megumi became, because the life that he wanted just basically went to shit. He knew that there was no way, I guess, in a sense, to get Sukuna out of his body and without them exercising both Sukuna and Megumi. And while I agree that maybe Megumi could have helped out a little bit more, he's starting to do it now. And I like that he's helping Itadori. He uses his Chimera Garden to trap Sukuna, to give Itadori a chance to just beat the shit out of Sukuna. So that's really nice. I like Megumi's, I'm not gonna call it development because I wouldn't really call it development. I just really like the fact that Megumi is all right, it's time to lock in. I don't know if he's realizing that Itadori wants to seal Sukuna off of him and just rip him out of Megumi, and that is a very viable option. And I'm pretty sure Megumi is just noticing that and is all right, it's time to lock in and it's time for us to do this shit. And he's getting in there. He is hammering away and helping Itadori. He only helped him a little bit, but I really feel he'll potentially maybe help him a little bit more, hopefully. And then the rest of the chapter is just, Sukuna and Itadori fighting, just throwing hands, going absolute ham at each other. Sukuna does realize that Itadori's his dismantle technique, is really cutting away at Megumi's soul more than he expected, I guess. Because your boy is okay, what the fuck was that shit? Why do I still have the Chimera Shadow technique, right? So he still has the 10 shadows, but he thought that he didn't have it anymore, which I guess there's no use in using it anymore, because I always thought, and most of the fandom thought, that he didn't have access to it anymore because he got back his original body. But I guess he still has access to it, but he just didn't think about maybe using it because it's not really too much use without Mahoraga. And so yeah, so there's that little aspect, and my little ray of sunshine is just hammering away. We don't know what his sure effect, sure hit, is, because I still don't know what his domain is, because what is gonna be the sure hit. I imagine it has something to do with souls, but I'm still not sure what it is. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the soul. So anyway, Sukuna begins using his, like, the same technique that Gojo did to like get back his technique. Obviously, it affects the brain, and you can see a panel where Sukuna's nose is just bleeding. So that's very interesting. He's using Gojo's technique to kind of like, the fact that he's using that technique means two things. Number one, that he's actually taking his fight with Itadori a little bit more seriously than he fucking intended. Or he's just going out of his way to just get this shit done quickly and just make our little ray of sunshine so miserable. Which, how much more miserable can you make him, dog? Like, how much more? So there's that little thing right there, right? And towards the end, as Sukuna realizes that he got back his technique, that the hollow whisker basket isn't gonna hold out so long, so he sends out like a cutting technique. Itadori's, I guess, gloves or whatever they were, they rip off, and he attacks Sukuna, right? And so right as Sukuna is about to do his domain expansion, Itadori's fingers are revealed. What I fucking love about this, right, is we knew that Sukuna took one of his fingers. We knew he was missing that finger, so he used the gloves and his fingers were back to normal. When Sukuna dismantled his gloves, the shattered glove, the small shattered parts hide those two fingers in the panel. So that's hella fucking interesting, because it kind of shows them hidden, and then it shows he's missing two fingers. He's missing one because that's the one that Sukuna took from him. And the second one that he's missing, I'm pretty sure, is that fucking finger that shows up towards the end. Now, there's a lot of speculation. I don't want to like speculate, and I don't want to theorize, because you never know what these things, right? But a lot of people are saying that obviously Itadori figured out how to create cursed objects, and he turned his finger into a cursed object. Still don't know. There is a theory going around that Itadori is using that cursed object. He's ripping out chunks of Sukuna's soul and he's storing it in that cursed object. I imagine Itadori is going to seal Sukuna back into the finger. He's going to eat him again, and then he's going to, sacrifice himself so that Sukuna can, that could potentially be what's happening. And I want to imagine that his sure hit technique within his domain has definitely something to do with sealing a person's body. So if Itadori masters how to create cursed objects, he can literally expand his domain and then just basically trap somebody's soul in a cursed fucking object. That would be a definitive fucking KO. And it would be one of the most powerful domain expansions that could exist, if that's what his sure hit is. If it's not, then, whatever, right? But his hits already rip apart a person's soul. They already affect a person's soul. So I want to imagine that his sure hit has something to do with ripping out somebody's soul. And I imagine that's why Itadori said that he has the ability to kill Sukuna. I imagine Itadori's domains, his domain's sure hit has definitely something to do with the aspect of, just taking someone's soul and sealing it somewhere else, and he's going to seal it in that finger. A lot of people are saying also that it could be Nobara potentially using her resonance to hit Sukuna's soul. I don't think so. I think it's pretty much confirmed up until this point that she's gone. So I think I would mostly go towards the fact that Itadori is sending pieces of Sukuna's soul into that finger, and his domain expansion is the sure hit is taking someone's soul, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna seal it within the finger. apparently this is the climax of the fight. We've been having the climax for like 5 fucking months now. So let's hope it's actually the fucking climax. There's still a lot of things to do. We still don't know what happened between Utahime and the fucking breakdancer. I forgot his name. We still don't know what's going on with them. We never got to see their fight, which is crazy. Honestly, I like the manga, but I feel like there's a lot of things missing, dude. I feel like we could have really expanded upon a couple of things, but anyway, whatever, right? So that's all for today. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.